Welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 5, episode number 13. We're Dan and Andy. This is the sports edition tonight. Andy, how are you?
I am good. How about yourself?
Very good. We're at the end of January, 13th episode here of season 5. We're going to be heading into, NASCAR coming up, the Clash, the PGA Masters, the
Pitchers and
Daytona.
catchers report in a couple of weeks.
A lot of stuff going on, but we got football to talk about.
Little
Let's
football.
start off with the trivia question.
All right. Let me go to my notes here.
Let's see if we have it on our notes.
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
There's only pitcher to win 7 consecutive World Series starts, and each one was a complete game.
Not his last 7, but all he had was 7
At
ever.
one time, he had 7 straight starts. They were all wins. They were complete games.
In the World Series, and they were all
Yes.
complete games, and they were all wins. Ooh, that's a great stat. We'll get to the stat answer for the trivia question at the end of the show, and it's baseball because, Andy, baseball's shortly around the corner. 2 weeks, they start reporting to camp.
Yeah, the 14th.
Oh, a little more than 2 weeks.
Yep.
Games start, regular season. It's going to be – I haven't seen that the Twins have announced who they're inviting to camp yet as far as the non-roster invites.
I did see in the last hour – Twins second baseman Polanco traded to the Mariners.
For real?
Would I lie to you?
Are you kidding? Was that for real?
I saw it on the Facebook. So one of our
we gotta check
on the Sports and Songs
We gotta
page.
check it out. I just did an episode, a live stream the other day talking about the Twins, and the focus was starting pitching for this upcoming year. But a bunch of the show, several minutes of it, was talking about trades and trade bait, including Polanco and things like that. But I've heard that the Blue Jays and Mariners were both in the hunt, but the Mariners got Polanco.
As I'm babbling on here, you check out the Sports and Songs Facebook page and see what it says.
I'm going to check it out because now I'm interested in that information. But here's your screen. We'll talk about some sports here. We'll see how everything shakes out.
I do have to say first, word from our sponsor. We got a new sponsor here.
Yes.
Midwest Shuttle. Those of us out here in the Watertown area, Waconia area, need a shuttle. You need a ride to the airport every now and then. Midwest Shuttle is where you go to.
Oh, I didn't know.
Check out Midwest Shuttle on the Facebook. And here's her little prices. She's got her little logo on the top there. Allie, get a hold of her. Midwest Shuttle Service on Facebook.
Well, maybe.
Airport. Yeah, she's right here, Watertown gal.
Maybe this could be a good venue to get to and from the Medina.
I don't think she'll do Medina. I think she's doing just airport stuff.
Airport, okay.
Yes, airport.
Well, we'll certainly check that out because that's obvious. A good
airport
deal.
Show all right. Only, but you never know what she might work into. But yeah, good gal. Give her a holler. Look her up on Facebook. Go from there. Now we'll get to the meat and potatoes here.
Nice.
Here's who's cheering for who in the Super Bowl. Kansas, Missouri cheering for the Chiefs. Northern California for Frisco, and the rest of the free world could really give 2 shits. So there, I said it.
Yes, and Kansas City. There, the cities overlap. There, there's a Kansas City East and West. But
I really seriously think if you ask sports-minded people, this will be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls ever.
Okay, you probably have it coming up, but there's a meme I wanted to discuss later on, but we'll let you get to that first.
I'll get to it all later. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Also, I've always said ex-players should be refs. Well, ta-da. Terry Killens will become the first player to both play in and officiate a Super Bowl game.
Oh, that I did not know.
Because I've always kind of said, hey, if you're that college player, rookie guy, you blow out a knee or an elbow, why not be a ref? You're kind of in shape and young man's doing it, so good for him.
That's awesome.
Probably getting paid more as a ref than a player. Wait, sorry.
Wow.
Kind of ruining my stuff later. Sorry, didn't mean that. Every NFL season has featured either Curly Lambeau, Tom Landry, or Bill Belichick as a coach.
Every NFL season, ever. So, Lambeau
good for a little bit.
Lambeau, Packers, Landry, Cowboys, Belichick, Ravens.
Landry was with the Broncos, I believe, at the start of his career. This is just as a coach. So it could be an assistant, a coordinator, whatever. Okay. These guys were coaching one of these
They've
three.
They've covered these 3 coaching. They've been in the coaching.
57 years of football. or whatever the NFL's been around for.
Yep. Okay. Interesting.
So let that soak in there too.
I like it.
Which you can't think about. Look at the Steelers. Have had 3 coaches in the last 40 years. So
yes.
All right. Gonna dive into this WWE thing. We talk wrestling here once in a while. I was doing a special episode on it, but since the sports stuff was kind of small this week, I threw it in this episode. So here we go.
All right.
Gonna backtrack a little before we get into this. About 4 years ago, it came up that Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, his character was a little too close to real life for him, with allegations of affairs and with other gals, not the wrestlers, but front office people, office gals, secretaries. Okay. And he kind of stepped away for a while, but then he came back slowly. But his attitude era of Vince McMahon with his attitude towards the women, that was not far from who he really was. Well, fast forward to today, this weekend, Vince McMahon officially resigns from all his roles with TKO. TKO is the company that bought them and the MMA group held by Dana White. Vince was still on the board. He officially stepped away from everything. In his report, he says, I stand by my prior statement that Miss Grant, which is Janelle Grant, that's the lady in question here, that her lawsuit is repile, it's lies, it's obscene, it's okay, no offense. It sounds like Donald Trump's speech right now. Okay. Vince, you got your hands caught in the cookie jar. Just admit it, you were eating the cookies. Yep. Not that we're going to forgive you, but just there's too much stuff against you to say you didn't do it. He looks forward to clearing his name. However, out of respect for the WWE universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and shareholders and partners and so basically, before you sue me and take everything away from me, I'm going to step away, is what he's saying.
Okay.
Man, he was accused of sex trafficking by former WWE employee Janelle Grant, allegedly defected by her head and tried to traffic her to Brock Lesnar, local boy here.
Local Minnesotan.
Just over in the Delano. And also Johnny Laurinaitis, brother the Animal of the Road Warriors, also from Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this isn't on the Channel 4 News. These are Minnesota people.
Yes.
Because if Minnesota does something great, that's all over the anyway. So Triple H, after the last pay-per-view, instead of having like a prepared statement, he just really stepped on his tongue through the whole thing, trying to avoid it. There should have been a prepared speech beforehand, or just tell the guys, hey, we're having the press conference after our pay-per-view. We're not talking about the Vince stuff. They did.
So he wasn't prepared and tried to just kind of wing it.
And he goes, but we've had a great week because WWE just signed this great deal with Netflix. Why is it talking about this great week we've had? I mean, the great week where the owner of your company had to step down because of sex allegations, sex trafficking. And the reason it falls under sex trafficking is she worked there with them. So if she traveled with them to state, and this happened state to state with the same person, that's considered sex trafficking. I just play an attorney on TV on a podcast.
Wow. That's interesting. Yep.
Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful. Major news. Vince McMahon resigned from all roles of TKO. So again, this was all the news coming out. Ronda Rousey, former WWE member, former MMA fighter, participant, I don't know what term they go by. Bruce Pritchard, who was another employee at WWE, was kind of Vince's right-hand man. She goes, Bruce Pritchard is basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince still has his hand in the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when he was quote-unquote gone before. Remember I said before Vince stepped away and came back? But he was still texting and calling Bruce and getting stuff done because the product cleaned up for a while, and then Vince was still gone, but a lot of fans saw it taking a Vince turn again.
Yeah.
So we all kind of knew what was going on. Here, Maria Kanellis, former WWE employee. Sometimes I look back at my life and things I witnessed, experienced, and overcame. I wonder how I survived, feeling very grateful. God is good. So even some of the gals who aren't there anymore are going to say something. And especially the ones who know they don't want to go back, like everybody else keeps going back there at the end. This is a gal who's made her money. She's doing good in AEW with ROH, running that. Her and her husband over there, they're fine. There's no want to go back, so I'll say what I want to say now.
It's okay to burn the bridges now. Yeah, there's no
now
harm.
this one gal, this Janelle Grant, she was this office position. I can't remember her exact position, making $100,000 a year. All of a sudden, with Johnny Laurinaitis and Vince, this whole sex triangle between the three of them, all of a sudden she got a job as Johnny's assistant at $200,000 a year.
Nice.
So a lot of people started saying Vince was using company money to shut her up. No, she got a pay raise for a job promotion, so I kind of covered it. Because when the first allegations came out in the non-disclosure agreement, it was $1 million up front, so many million over time. I think Vince missed a payment. Because who else would be bringing all this out unless it's someone within the company who just wants Vince gone? The scary thing is, Paul Levesque, Triple H, who's running it now, who's his son-in-law, who was there all along too, you better start watching your back, son. And here's what's funny over the Royal Rumble weekend. Originally reported, and this, I kid you not, was like within hours. Slim Jim reportedly pulled their sponsorship from the Royal Rumble due to the Vince McMahon allegations. Vince officially steps away. Fast forward a couple hours later, Slim Jim is back as the main sponsor of the Royal Rumble. So you can say it's just Slim Jim, but that's your major sponsor. They've always sponsored this pay-per-view forever. Look at Bud Light. You lose one sponsorship deal, no one's going to want to be your sponsor.
Yeah.
So if just little old Slim Jim backed out, who else wants to work at WWE?
Wow.
But let's get into important things. Sports that are not fixed or entertainment. We are 1 week away from the Coliseum. Now, this will be a night race next weekend. They take the LA Coliseum, they tar it down, and they put NASCAR cars out there. 1 more week for the Clash Coliseum.
And then they rip it all back up again. It's lots of asphalt. It's a great idea because it kicks off. They've been using this now for how many? 3 years to kick off the season. And it gets people excited. It gets people to watch, and it's not a bad idea.
Format. The guys kind of can break off the rust from the off season. Y'all get to see each other, work with your new teams.
It's called the Clash. They have it there at the Coliseum in LA. It's a very interesting event. It's very expensive, but they're obviously making some good money to be able to do that costly proposition. But very interesting.
And Fox gets the first few races, and here's the Fox new crew up in the booth. It is Denny Hamlin. And then Clint, no relation Boyer at the end there.
Nice.
And Mike Joy in the middle. So your Fox announcers, that should be kind of interesting there.
Just one thing here before we move on. The Coliseum is always one of those tough things to put fans in the seats. It seats so many people. It's so big. It used to be a big track and field location for the 84 Olympics.
Yep.
And so now you have baseball. They've tried doing baseball there. Football's there all the time.
Super Bowl's been there, I believe.
Super Bowl. But now you get this race where you can not really a bad seat in the house sitting there, and they can pack it in. It's
I know we held tryouts for our last intern out there too.
Yes.
West Coast reporter.
Perfect.
All right. Here's this little comparison. Women's basketball. South Carolina, number 1 against number 9. LSU drew 1.55 million. Celtics and Heat drew 1.38 million, and they're professionals. College women drew 1.55. Again, I'll let that sit there for a little bit.
See, that's and I didn't see this one before. That is amazing to see that stat.
And I just want to let you know that we're talking about basketball numbers for college women here. And Caitlin Clark's name isn't mentioned, so it's not just her. It's good matchups, good teams are getting the ratings.
Boy, that is unbelievable. And
the
Celtics
we couldn't plug women's basketball without saying Caitlin Clark's name. Well, we did. Kind of.
Yeah. Wow.
And just to bring it up, South Carolina did win that game 76-70. Dawn Staley, coach of South Carolina, is now 15-0 versus LSU since 2012. LSU's been good since 2012, too. They weren't bottom feeders this whole time.
Yes.
That'd be like Well, they probably were close. I hate to use it, but it'd be like North Carolina being 15-0 against Duke.
Yeah,
That
it's
wasn't going to
just
happen because of the route, but that would be
you
the
would
same type of thing.
the average person would think that record back and forth would be so much closer to that, if
At
not
least
even.
10-5.
But 15-0 is just unreal.
Yeah, you figure at least 10-5, maybe.
Yes.
15 donut. As
So
we
they
say
just
here.
have their number. My goodness.
So say here at the Shadow Studios, 15 donut.
Donut. Yes, of course. I like it.
And here is, as of yesterday, the women's college basketball. And look at the previous rankings on the side, too, how people have dropped and back up and everything else, Kansas State went up from 4-2. Iowa up from 5-3 because 2 and 3 both lost. So they dropped, These women's numbers are dropped. Ohio State's up from 8 to number 12, Yeah, LSU stayed at 9 because, well, you lost the number 1 team, so it's not that bad. You only lost by 6, UConn dropped from 8 to 11 because they had a loss in there. So, and here's the Big Ten women's standings: Iowa 8-1, Indiana 8-1. These are conference records. Ohio State 8-1. So, Big Ten's looking busy. And it's never too early to talk about the 2024 River Valley League West Class C playoff format.
Okay.
Mark your days right there now.
Okay, got it.
For those of you who are listening, check our Facebook page. I shared it there too. But July 24, 26, 27, 28. Now, if I recall, that's usually when Rails to Trails is going on out here in Watertown that last weekend in July. So, but this is the River Valley League, so it might be a little double dipping for me. A lot of miles will be put in that day.
Yeah, and to keep in mind too, it's not just to see the championship or the semifinals. Each of these games will be good because of the talent here at the Class C level. So if you can make any one of these games, you're going to see some good baseball.
And because of the draft situations, because you might be in the consolation game, those pitchers are pitching to move on.
Yeah. Lots of pitching depth here in this section as well.
Now, that's what this picture, the 1986 Jordan State Champions. Anyone on that team, Dan?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's the good guys in the back, the tall dudes. You get Goat Henches and John Beckman and a couple other Beckmans there on the group. These guys I remember going to these games in Class C, and these guys were all studs, all good ball players right here.
Now, were you the one taking the picture then, or were you?
No. In fact, I went to some of those games, but I don't think I went to the title game. I'm not sure where that one was that year, or was it? No, 86. I don't know.
But there's the guys all right there,
including the draftees.
Yep. They didn't even include them in the picture too, so that's kind of nice.
A young Charlie Larka in the front row there, second from the right.
What if Pat Cheetah's in that picture as a draftee? Oh, never mind.
No,
maybe not.
Yeah, he would not have. Too young. But boy,
maybe just missed the cut. Yeah,
gotta love the pants there and the
that gold. That's not yellow. That's mustard, I think.
That's like a mustard right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, hey, if you go back, one thing, Andy, our sports fan listeners might know this here, but the tall guy in the middle there, the Dave Henches, the GOAT, that's his son, Sam Henches, for the Cleveland Indians, the pitcher.
Okay.
That's the connection there with him. That's his son pitching in the majors, Cleveland Indians. Tall drink of water, but
like our cliche says, all we do is educate.
Yes.
Educate. And owner of the Utah Jazz has submitted a formal request to the National Hockey League to expand to Salt Lake City. Here's my like and dislike on this. I love the fact that NHL wants to expand women's hockey. Right now, we have 4 divisions with 8 teams each. This would screw things up. We need to find 3 more towns to expand real quick to join in. Or at least 1 more. Have 2 9-man and 2 8-man divisions. Something. Maybe a team relocates. I don't know, but Salt Lake City wants hockey now.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works out.
I could see them. Yeah, that makes sense.
And now the soapbox.
All right. Let's hear it.
The NFL. All right. Here we go. I've said these things before. We kind of put it in a nutshell here. The Baltimore Ravens cost themselves the game because of the NFL. They want to be all showy and flashy and this and that. So the guy was all worried about getting his camera time. Oh, funny, they called him for taunting. You see these guys got okay. Going blank, the running back for the 49ers.
Christian
McCaffrey.
Yes.
You know him for scoring touchdowns. St. Brown from the Lions. You know him for making nice catches. You know, the Lions are names, but Justin Jefferson. You know him for his dancing. But how many playoff wins does he have? McCaffrey just scores touchdowns. He's in the Super Bowl. St. Brown for the Lions just makes nice catches and scores that great rookie year. Made the championship game. Justin Jefferson can dance. He didn't make the playoffs. Idiot for the Ravens likes to dance and show off. He's going back home. NFL, get your priorities straight. Tell them not to worry about so much of their dancing and celebrations all the time and worry about playing the stupid game, and you'll get your fans back.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch because that first game that the Ravens, it was their mistakes that cost them the game.
But then this guy got cocky and ended it. And the cockiness, this is all I'm going to say about the Lions. You know what killed it for the Lions in that game? Halftime. They had momentum and it stopped.
Oh, yes.
The one guy had a ball bounce off his face mask. The other guy caught it. You can't help that. Little things that were just, but they had momentum, and you saw them all smiling, getting a little happy and giddy on the sideline, and you knew it was over right there.
It did remind me of that Falcons-Vikings 98 game at the half. The Vikings ran it right down their throats via the air and running everything in 1998. And they went into half. Yep. Adjustments were made, and then the Falcons came back out then to win it, just like this game. Now, I like the one thing I liked about it, and I told the wife when we were watching the game, is that this is one of the best games I've ever seen as far as close back and forth matchups. Good game. Came down to the wire. Fun to watch. Was not a blowout. It was back and forth. But, boy, that San Francisco just came back and slowly eked away. They didn't play that good in the first half, but they didn't make many mistakes. Well, the Lions made mistakes.
They missed a fourth down.
Costly mistakes.
Well, and here's the other thing. Look at the jerseys who sell. Jefferson, who dances. Lamar Jackson, who likes to dance. His is selling. Dak Prescott, who likes to do his little first down things all the times. CD Lamb for the Cowboys likes to do his showboating. Where are those guys after the first week of playoffs?
Yep.
Christopher McCaffrey puts his nose down and scores the ball. Scores the ball in the end zone all the time. All the time. Kansas City Chiefs, say what you will. Mahomes gets it done. Their line gets it done. And they're in the Super Bowl. And that's my friend Forrest Gump says.
It was some good football, but you're right. You need the team to win it. It reminds me of the what was it, the 87 or maybe the 91 Twins, or maybe both, where there really wasn't the superstar or superstars. It was all of them plugging away, doing it without showboating at all. And that's how you win the big games. It's all aspects of the game: offense, defense, special teams, coaching. And boy, well, I saw that the play where the running back was going in to score, and the ball was loose about the half-yard line, and then it got kicked loose. Yep. I'm like, I just cannot believe that was for the Ravens.
Yeah. Or how many guys during the regular season?
Simple as that. Wow.
There was one guy during the regular season dropped the ball like at the Tukes. He was too busy. He wanted to hurry up and start celebrating and dancing in the end zone with his friends.
Yes, and you see that.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Lions. I overheard someone today that the coaching, all these calls going forward on fourth down, bit them in the butt at the end, because of all the high risks. Well, they may have been high risk, but they were at least worthwhile. The errors they made were on the field. The dropped balls when receivers are wide open, out open on the flat there, and the balls that were just simply missed by Detroit in that second half. All they can blame is themselves.
Oh, he makes that fourth down play. He's a genius. What a gutty guy. What a great player. What a great coach. He misses it. He's a moron. Whatever.
Oh, and then San Francisco also had that missed field goal early in the game.
Yeah.
So it was I think it was just the determination and San Francisco. I'm not sure what was said there at halftime in the locker room, but they came out and slowly plugged away. It wasn't too urgent. It wasn't just let's go down the field. That's
Well,
just
things were
it
handed
was.
to him too, though.
What's
I mean,
that?
missed opportunities, missed fourth downs. They had some short fields there, so
Yes, it was very interesting. So that's a good soapbox right there. There's a lot of showboating, dancing, and trying to get on the ESPN highlight reel
yep.
rather than just focusing. Do those things after you're a World Series champ, after you're a Super Bowl champ, after you're a Stanley Cup champ. You can do all those things if you'd like, but not
Kind of like in Bull
you
Durham.
You can't do that.
Kind of like in Bull Durham. There's fungus on your shower shoes.
Yes, exactly.
You win 20 in the show lift, people think you're classy. Until then, you're a slob.
Yes.
Get a ring, then you can dance.
Well, the other thing I liked about Kansas City, and as far as I think we all were kind of big Mahomes fans early on, previous years, but now it's getting kind of old. But he had never won on the road, and now you get Mahomes winning the AFC title on the road, the divisional game on the road. Wasn't real pretty, but he got the job done, like you said. So that's really putting another feather in his cap, along with Kelsey, of what they can do in tough situations on the road.
But here's pressure: if they lose the Super Bowl, he's 1-3 in Super Bowls. So is he still that good?
Yeah, that we'll see how that all shakes out.
How the media takes that. Oh, you're still Pat Mahomes. That's okay.
Oh,
Jim Kelly was 0-4, and they dogged him forever. Mahomes will be 1-3. Not much difference.
Now, do you have anything coming up on their on the quarterbacks, Super Bowl quarterbacks, their backgrounds in college?
No,
because this is a good one.
There was something I heard and I forgot what it was.
So you get Purdy, the young guy from Iowa State, Big 12 quarterback, going up against Texas Tech, Pat Mahomes.
Oh, is it number one pick against
Big 12 quarterbacks? Both Big 12 guys.
I thought it was was Mahomes the number one pick or no?
No, Goff and Stafford.
Okay.
Were but not those guys. But they're both Big 12. So Brock Purdy, the thing I like about this is that ever since he came up as a third string quarterback, essentially was all he ever was and all he was meant to be. And then they started winning a couple of years ago, and now they find themselves in the Super Bowl. And a lot of fans, whether they're 49ers fans or not, but just thought, well, this Brock Purdy thing, how long is it going to last? He's not built to be an NFL quarterback. He's just kind of winging it and getting it done. Well, now you got to put him in that category too with these wins and the seasons that he's putting up. He's the real deal.
Well,
he's going up against Mahomes, who can do no wrong, and I get Brock Purdy on the other side, who's this young athlete who never had the big. There was never big promises made when this guy came up, expectations, and now he's just slowly getting it done week in and week out.
I thought it was longer ago than this. They said it was when San Francisco and Kansas City played in the Super Bowl just 5 years ago. Was that Kaepernick in the Super Bowl? That was the Kaepernick year then, wasn't it?
Yes.
So it's been 5 years since that moron was in there, and he still played for. I thought it was longer ago than that because he still hung around for a couple years afterwards.
Yes.
I thought it was longer ago than that. So, wow.
But now we're going to see, this Super Bowl preview, we'll touch on it more next week, but, the big tight end matchup is going to be good. The quarterback matchup, the defenses, it should be all good. And it's in Vegas. First time ever there in the Dome, Allegiant Stadium there in the Dome of Vegas. Very interesting. It's going to be a fun deal.
Right now, if you had to ask me, I'd say San Francisco by 11. Christian McCaffrey is your MVP.
Yep.
That's my early line.
I would agree. Wow. Yeah.
11.
I don't think that's far off. Double-digit favorite. Yep.
And also the other thing about the NFL, I'm going to continue the soapbox. I will get past the stuff. More of a Super Bowl ring on it. When you're going to have 3 or 4 different national anthems you're singing before a game, I have zero interest in watching.
Yeah.
When you have all that extra music between this, are you going to have concerts after the second time out all the time too now pretty soon? It's getting to be ridiculous.
Well, the NFL, even though they're playing football, the NFL is registered as an entertainment. They're a business. They're an entertainment business. They're businesses to entertain. They're not. So that is their deal. Now that's also one of the reasons I've watched less and less of that over the years,
Yep.
because it's all entertained, it's all scripted out, who's doing what, who's not the games necessarily, but it's just the production of who's on the halftime show, who's performing the pregame, who's
Yeah,
the
that's
night
a bigger
before,
deal than the actual game.
who's the big sponsorship of the presentation of the Lombardi Trophy. You know, everything's all sponsored now by every little thing. Each each quarter is sponsored. The halftime sports, the pregame. It's all a big deal. But there's going to be a whole week of that too. That Super Bowl is going to come. There's going to be acts and musical acts announced for the Thursday before, the media day, the kids zone on Saturday. You know, there's so many things going on. It's like a bowl. It's like a college bowl, Rose Bowl event.
Yeah.
Is a Super Bowl.
That's all I got, sir.
Awesome. So what we've got is UFL. No news on the UFL.
No.
This week they've had their dispersal draft. They've had their things like that. They're going to be up and ready to go here with games starting March 30th. We've got the final Super Bowl game. We've got 3 all-star college football Division I games yet to go. And so those things will be happening as far as the East-West Shrine game, the HCBC all-star game, and the Senior Bowl. There's things like that coming up. That's really it. College football's done. Other than those 3 things, those are things mainly that coaches and parents and fans show up to watch. Scouts will show up to watch those kinds of things. And then we got the draft coming up in April. Baseball around the corner, like we said. But let's get to the trivia answer.
What pitcher? 7 consecutive wins, all complete games. St. Louis Cardinals, Bob Gibson.
Yeah, and so it would have to be back in time, because you don't see
before the relievers and everything else. Yeah,
you don't see complete games. So he was what, 60s, late 60s,
70s,
early 70s. Bob Gibson, and the Cardinals were in the World Series with Stan Musial, over the years, and so he pitched 7 games, won them all in the World Series, and all were complete games.
That is over 3 different series.
Yes, yeah, different series. They weren't all 7 games.
All 7 that year.
7 different, and typically you'd pitch 2 to 3 times in a World Series. So 7 over the course of multiple seasons.
Yep.
Straight wins that were all complete game wins. That's a stat that's almost unbelievable on its face.
Yeah, that won't be broken.
No, never.
7 straight wins for a starter, I don't think will be broken, let alone complete games.
Well, if there's players who reach their complete major league career without having 7 wins in a World Series after their whole career. You don't even get to the World Series, much less win, much less have a complete game that many times. All right.
That's all I got.
So next week we're going to do a Super Bowl preview. Special
guest line. Working on getting a special guest.
Now, the other thing, we're purposely, if you haven't heard anything about the Pro Bowl, that's not by mistake. We here at the studio are not going to cover any kind of Pro Bowl, any kind of flag football challenge events. It's too, we got better things to do with our time here at the studios.
We have pro wrestling to talk about.
We got pro wrestling. All right. Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.